Hi, I just wanted to do a short video on how to take care of your paintbrushes. I've just been through a stack of these and I've just cleaned them all. Some were really kind of caked up with paint, and just want to show you how you can clean them and also keep them so they're still working okay as you're working through your paintings, to stop them from drying up. Well, first of all, what you need to do is, I've got a couple of these brushes which are really quite hard on the tips, so the hairs won't separate at all. So the first thing to do, well, if you've been using your brushes, you need to use some mineral spirits and give them a good clean and clean all the excess paint off. If you're just going to clean them while they're still quite fresh from being used. But if they've not been used for a long time, like these, what you do is you get some warm water in an old dish or something like this, and you could just give your brushes a soak just for a couple of minutes, just to loosen the dried paint up a little bit. Then this is the Masters brush cleaner. You can get it off Amazon, and it's really good. I had stacks of brushes that had just kind of built up over the years that I'd left to one side, and I went through all of them, and even really brushes that were really hard and not been used for a few years. This even got those quite soft and usable again. So yeah, it's really good. So I'll just move that out of the way. Yeah, so basically you can see how much I've used. So this was, obviously filled to the top there, but I really went through all my brushes. So you leave them soaking in some warm water, and that kind of softens them up. And you can see that's made that softer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to swirl that around in the brush cleaner. Make sure you've got plenty of water in there, and work that into, kind of really work it into the bristles. Let's give it another work around. And I'll do the other one and work it in, and then just leave your brushes for 10 minutes, and then kind of, if they're really hard like those ones, you might need to do it 2 or 3 times. So leave it for 10 minutes just to let the oil, the brush cleaner, work into the bristles, and then we'll come back and we'll give it another swirl around. Okay, I've left these for 10 minutes, so let's have a look at them. Give them a swirl around in the water. Let's have a look. Yeah, if you look at that, I'll give it another swirl around in the paint cleaner. But you can see already how it's kind of, that was just solid before. It's still quite stiff, but if I'll give it another go. And same on this one. Let's check this. Yeah, that one's still quite stiff. So that one must have been well caked up, but I'll do the same with that. Leave it for another 10 minutes. I checked this one as well. I'd cleaned this one already, but it was still quite stiff. It was quite soft halfway up to about there, halfway mark, but then this bottom half was quite stiff still, so it must have still had a bit of paint in it. So I gave that a swirl around in the paint cleaner, but I'll give that another go as well. Might be easier for you to see with it being a bigger brush. Okay, so give that another swirl around and just work some cleaner into that. Okay, I left it for another 10 minutes, so I'll give them another clean and see how they're looking now. There, feels really quite soft now. Yeah, still a little bit stiff, but it's getting softer. If you've not been, I've not cleaned this one for years, so it might take, you know, 3 or 4 goes to get it really soft. This brush should be okay, because like I said, I'd already cleaned it. It was just a bit stiff at the bottom, so. Give my hands a wipe. And yeah, that's really softened up now, so that one's good to go. Okay, let's see where we are now. So give this a swirl around in the warm water and oops, let's check it. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but look how loose the hairs are now on the brush, the bristles. It is a pretty warm brush. I just wanted to get you an old brush just to show you how good this brush cleaner is. It can bring all these really old brushes back to life. So, you know, I'll be able to use that again now. Okay, some other tips for keeping your brushes workable while you're doing a painting. So if you've got a painting that's going to go on for a few days and you don't want to just keep cleaning your brushes every time, what you can use is some brush dip, and all that is refined linseed oil and some clove oil. So I've had this a long time. I learnt about this from watching Mark Harder. He's got some really good videos on different aspects of painting, how to paint, and what kind of materials you might need, etc. So he's really good. And I originally filled this up this jar probably about halfway with the linseed oil, and then I probably put about 1/3 to 1/2 of a clove oil in there. And basically, when you've done your day's painting, if you're painting with linseed oil, you can just wipe the paint off your brush and dip it in the brush dip, sorry, and then put it to one side, and that'll just stay wet for several days really. When you mix the clove oil and the linseed oil, if you put the lid on the jar and give it a good shake first to make sure it's all mixed up. But then when you come in to paint the next day, just give your brush a quick wipe and you can start painting. So no need to keep cleaning your brushes after every painting session. If you're going to be painting with something like liquid as your paint medium, you do need to give your brushes a good rinse with mineral spirits, just to get all the linseed oil and oil of cloves out of the bristles, because that's kind of, with painting with liquid, you're going to be wanting fast drying paint, whereas linseed oil, and especially with some oil of cloves, does the opposite. It slows down the drying. So if you finish painting and you've been using liquid, likewise, just give them a good clean with the mineral spirits, and then put them in the brush tip. And before you use them, of course, same thing, just so you're not getting any slow drying medium mixed with your quick drying medium, because that would be like having a humidifier and a dehumidifier switched on together in the same room, both fighting against each other. So yeah, just make sure you give your brushes a good clean. Something else you can do as well, which I got this off another really good artist, Cesar Santos, is you could use this is just vegetable cooking oil or sunflower oil, and obviously just a paint tray where you put the rolls in. But so I just put some cooking oil in there, and if I've got a painting that's gone on for some time and I'm busy, and I haven't got time to clean them, and I might be using the brushes again anyway, you can kind of lay your brushes in here, and that'll just keep them from drying out, which is really good. And it's not toxic or anything, it's just vegetable oil. Same thing is, if I'm coming back to use these, I really want to get all that vegetable oil off them, so I'll give them a good wipe, and then I'll give them a really good thorough clean with the mineral spirits before I start using them again. It's just to make sure I get rid of all of the cooking oil off them. So that's another good tip to use if you're for looking after your brushes and to keep them good working order while you're busy with your painting life. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and hope you picked up a few tips there, and I'll see you on the next video.